Welcome, everyone. First, you probably see I have 13 pages, Times New Roman font type, size 8 to read up, so probably I will be longer than expected. Basically, what I wanted to start my presentation with is a very simple message. It has been told today, we need more wilderness, and we already have 1 million hectares of wilderness protected in Europe. We will have a map distributed among this group the day after tomorrow, the map of PEM parks, which will be part of my presentation. And we already have 50 protected areas in this network. It's going to grow, and we already have about 50 tourists and other entrepreneurs who are all part of our network. So this is what you have to remember. All the rest of my presentation you can simply forget. Basically, so again, my name is Zoltan Kun. I work for PEM Parks. I'm a wilderness advocate. And I will speak today about a wild dream, following up on what Toby has already said. Ladislav said that we can be informal, so I can also take off at least my suit and show you my outfit. So, but before I start to talk about the business, I have to say that I have a family at home. I have 4 kids, and one of them actually gave me the name of Traveler Eagle, which means obviously that I travel a lot and I fly a lot. And so when I'm away, I always have to justify that I went away. My wife is really pissed off, of course, because she has to do all the business at home now for a week. So normally what I do, and I have to ask you to do me a favor now. Could you please raise one of your hands? At least one. Great. So now I can pretend that my presentation was voted the best in Salamanca. Which gives a good justification to come for 1 week away. So what I said, I work for PEM Parks, and what PEM Parks is basically, we believe that we are the leading European wilderness protection organization. Legally, of course, it's an organization. We are registered somewhere, doesn't matter where, and we work basically for wilderness protection, but I would say that PEM Parks is more a movement. I told you that we already have 50 protected areas in our network. We have over 50 entrepreneurs, tourism and others as well. For instance, my outfit was kindly offered by one of the companies that works for us for free. So there are quite a lot of people who are interested in protecting wilderness, either as individuals or as organizations. Our organizations once was also selected as best practice example in this European Parliament resolution, which Toby has already mentioned, from 2009. And now, again, what I'm talking about here is why PEM Parks was needed, why PEM Parks was set up back in 1999. And again, I have to ask you to do a favor, again, to me. Some of you received balloons, yeah, I suppose. Toby, that's yours. So please blow up your balloons, the people who received it from the beautiful ladies when you entered. It should be 100 balloons together with mine. So blow it up, please. Okay, and now I will count on to 3, and then you have to smash it, or you got the... Okay, do the same as the gentleman over there. Smash it. So, 1 remained, and this is what I want to say as a main message. 99% of Europe land has been modified significantly, radically, more or less, or maybe just slightly. 1% remained. And this 1% requires urgent and strict protection. That's the main message. And out of this 99%, which is even worse, 4.2% has been really modified. We will never get it back really as wilderness because it has been covered with artificial surface. The place where we are now is Salamanca, a beautiful city, but we have to recognize that this was once nature. Yeah? And what is even more disturbing, the only land type or land use which is significantly increasing in Europe is the artificial surface. If we continue with the current tendencies, by 2025 we are going to have even 5% covered with artificial surface. Housing, roads, industry, whatever. Even under the current economic crisis, we managed to cover new areas with concrete. And why we need wilderness? There are simple arguments for it. First of all, there is not one single species that we invented as human. The species that we have, the biodiversity was invented in wilderness. 3 species an hour, so while during our sessions here in 1 hour, 3 species will be gone globally. So we really need wilderness, but we also need wilderness for human survival. For instance, an earlier speaker talked about the TEB process which introduced the payment for ecosystem services. But what I really would like to highlight here, that we need to give better value for non-use values, which would give value for wilderness areas. And there was one guy, I recently read an article from Ralph Buckley, who his article was entitled, "Can we afford protecting wilderness?" But actually at the end of his article he turned the question back. He said, "Can we afford losing wilderness?" And I think no. The simple answer is no. We cannot afford losing wilderness, so we have to protect it. So the last great wilderness places in Europe, they require urgent protection. Why? For instance, in Finland and Sweden, just in the past few years, there are 700 new mining proposals, 700 in 2 countries in Europe. There are several ski slopes proposed. During these days, I'm sure people will talk about Shumava as one of the examples where logging and ski development is threatening wilderness. But ironically, the hunger for green energy is also one among the threats for wilderness areas. Probably there are people here from Scotland who can say more about this during these days. In our term, Toby again talked about this WILD10 example from Ireland. In our term, wilderness is not necessarily something untouched. You can restore it, you can recreate it. And there were already presentations about this, how you can revive Europe. But, you know, in our sense, reviving can happen here in Salamanca, it can happen in an agriculture field, it can happen in a steep slope, wherever. But for us, for PEM parks, reviving is only relevant when it ends up with wilderness. So, basically, this is where we started to build our dream, which I will mention later on again in my presentation. So, basically, wilderness for us means wildlife. It means undisturbed landscape, also visually undisturbed landscape, and also going outdoors. We have to link wilderness to people. Wilderness offers a great opportunity for kids to go outside. And it's an area where there is no extractive use. I'm again not an anti-hunter, but we really need areas where there is no hunting at all. There is no fishing, there is no grazing with domestic animals. So, what our organization did, in 2011, we started a project which we call the Million Project, aiming to protect 1 million hectares of wilderness by 2015. We are actually quite close. We tripled the area of wilderness since then in our network, from 300,000 hectares to 900,000 hectares. So we are actually quite close to accomplish this target. And we will have some sessions about this project during the 2 days. This is the network, but again, as I said, the map will be distributed here as a poster, so you will get a poster during the conference, and you can also access this map as a PDF. You will get it after the conference. And now, the last part of my presentation is the dream which we have, because we also would like to revive the minds and hearts of people. And as I said to you, PEM Parks is not alone. We are not working on this wilderness issue alone. We are working together with researchers, universities, we work together with government and non-government organizations, and also with for-profit companies. Basically, what we would like to say that European citizens should say, not 1 single square meter of wilderness should be lost from now. but we have to recreate it, because our children and our grandchildren, they have the right to access wilderness in the future. So, an earlier speaker said, we simply need more wilderness. We came up with a dream, and now I would like to ask 4 of my colleagues to blow up their balloon again. And maybe you can stand up. So the whole idea is that we will have 5% wilderness in Europe by 2025. And you can see we are not alone. I'm not doing it on my own, but there is Denka from Czech Republic, there is Steve from UK, Arto from Finland, and I can't remember who was the last one, but there is one more person. So 5%, that's the dream. We call you to join us, we call you to join our fight for Europe's wilderness, and basically we are going to present the next year's strategy during these days. We are going to have several sessions here in WILD10. Basically, we integrated our usual conference to the WILD10, and you are welcome to join for the 4 different sessions. Thank you very much.